In the clip you're about to watch from the UK child abuse rally, David Icke delivers a passionate and motivating speech to all victims and survivors, after which he is interviewed by Bill Maloney. If you are a supporter of Pie and Mesh Films, we would ask you to help us to continue with our fights against child abuse and for you and your family's civil liberties by donating whatever you can afford or by purchasing our films from our website to enable us to continue giving you the hard-hitting facts. God bless all victims and survivors.
As much as you can, because we are announcing this publicly, big time today.
Thanks for coming, David. This is David Icke, another hero who people, you know, have tried to ridicule and put down. And David, as far as I'm concerned, of all us abuse victims, he speaks for us.
Well, it's really great to meet you. I've been pushing your video everywhere.
I know you have. I know you have, David.
Because you're doing a great job getting this stuff out. And you know, it was. It's nearly 20 years ago now that I started to realise not just that this child abuse was going on in all its different forms,
but she's a baroness,
but the scale of it.
David, can I just cut you there? Are you going to speak for us today, David?
Well, I will if you want me to. Yeah.
I would love you to, and I'm going to try and organise it right now, David. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. And so are you.
I think somebody else has rolled up. And so I have great pleasure in handing the microphone over to somebody who I know can handle it very well. David?
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks for coming. I got seriously interested in the last few months, particularly in the gathering aspect to this child abuse and child abduction, which is stealing children from loving parents by the state through the social services mafia. In the last few years, they have changed the way in which they process job applications for social services. They have done this to target certain personality types, and there'll be mothers listening to this who've had their children taken by the state who, my God, will understand what I'm about to say. They are targeting, recruiting, headhunting certain character types that have no empathy, no compassion, no heart, no ability to empathize with the agony beyond my comprehension of loving parents having their children who want to be with them taken away for spurious reasons, thanks to the constant conspiracy between social services staff, lawyers representing local councils and social services, judges, etc. I think I see a way out of this. We need to come together and stop cooperating with this system. Yes. Not fight it. They want us to fight it. Just a few more people on the streets with weapons. Then, oh, we must fight the people. There's an uprising. No. This system, whether it's child abuse, whether it's stealing children from loving parents, or whether it's bombing the innocent around the world for political expansion and acquisition. The number of people doing it are a tiny fraction of those who are having it done in their name. The system is held together by our acquiescence. Enough! Enough! No more! And I'll say this to the people in luminous jackets and the dark suits that administer this system and conspire too, some of them, to take children away. You have no power. Your power is not in you, it's in the uniform the state gives you to put on. Your power is in the wardrobe, not in you. Take the uniform off. Where's your power? Gone. Change your job. Where's your power? Gone. You're just animating a uniform which is an extension of the state. And you have children and grandchildren too. And they're going to have to live in the world that you're helping to bring in. Wake up. Grow up. And we need to come together. Not just talk about it, but start organizing. Start organizing mass non-compliance. The non-comply dance. dancing to a different drum. We're not having it anymore. And I'll finish on this. You know, people think, and this is how the system overcomes the people so much, is people think that it's not my problem. It's not my child. It's not my freedom that's been taken away directly. It's not me having to knock on the door in the middle of the night saying we want your child. But it is. Because if we don't draw a line in the sand now, then it will be your child eventually. It will be you. What did they say? What did that pastor say? After Nazi Germany. First they came for the Jews and I was not a Jew, so I did nothing. Then they came for the communists and I was not a communist, so I did nothing. Then they came for the trade unionists, I was not a trade unionist and I did nothing. Then they came for me and there was no one left to speak out for me. That is the road we're walking down. Anyone's injustice is our injustice. That's the only way to bring an end to this. It's time to stand up. Stand up. Enough. Time to fly and have none of this crap any longer. We get it because we take it. Thank you very much.
That's good, David. You've done well there, You've done well there. Right. So now David has just given what I would call a very comprehensive and rousing speech to victims and to people that are, you know, a girl said today, I think it was the girl who was up there, what was her name, David?
Minty.
Minty. She said, I want to see fighters here today, and that's what I was after, David. I wanted to see fighters, and that's what we love about you, David, because you're a fighter and you don't stop, and it comes out passionately when you talk, and it comes out passionately within your work, and that is it. So we're looking to you, David, as well. Some people look to me and then I look to you. Everyone's got to have to look up to someone, and I thought that was a wonderful speech that you've done, David. So what else? I mean, you know, when you're up there sometimes you think it goes, doesn't it? You think, I wish I'd said this, I wish I'd done that. What do you wish you'd said if you'd have had more time?
Well, I can't think of anything now. What I would have done would have been more comprehensive about it, because once you realise that there is this secret society structure, this global structure, like a transnational corporation, it's like you know, like a hologram. Every smaller parts of the hologram are smaller versions of the whole hologram. This is how this control system works. So your Freemason, satanic, paedophile structure on the Isle of Wight or in your part of London will be the same as the global one. It's just be a smaller version of it.
That's how we got to educate people, David. You know, it's like the Masons, and when you start talking about satanic abuse, they think, oh, what's this geezer? He's crackers. I'm saying it now as well, and I do believe in satanic rituals, and I think the island of Jersey was absolutely reeked in it, completely.
The Isle of Wight, where I live, is a major satanic Freemasonic centre. You know, there are probably more Freemasons on the Isle of Wight per head of population than any other place in Britain, possibly the world. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It completely controls the island. But the point is that once you understand this structure, you can then understand why you can have a Freemasonic judge taking a child away from a loving parent, having had the case presented to him by a Freemasonic lawyer or barrister, which originated with Freemasonic paedophile social workers.
They can't lose.
It's a stitch-up.
I've got a situation at the moment, David, right? I've got a film called Adam Rickwood and the Medhamsley Heroes, which is about Adam Rickwood, and Adam actually brings it up to date. Do you know the case of Adam Rickwood? He was, David, 5 years ago, he was found hanging in his cell, supposedly on suicide watch, but he hung himself with his own laces after a restraint that had caused a broken nose and a broken wrist. Now there's a second inquest, because the first coroner never allowed the inquest to be carried through properly, questions to ask, people to be cross-examined, etc, etc. So the family weren't happy. Now it's criminal and there is a jury. Now we have had our film on sale and up as a trailer for a year. We went to the kid's mother, Carol Pounder, and said, give this copy to your solicitor and let your solicitor tell us if there's anything that will prejudice the case. The solicitor came back and all the solicitor said was, I am not a media lawyer. That was nearly a year ago, even after giving him 4 copies, and he said he would give it to the new coroner. Now we've had the new coroner threaten us to take everything down. everything. And I'm not taking it down, David, because whatever I'm reporting on there has been put in the public domain, but not as strongly as I put it. That's what you have taught us to do, to put things strongly and comprehensively, and not and get rid of the PC, the political correctness.
Absolutely. The thing is that a lot of mothers in the social service and parents in the social services gulag now are starting to realise there's no point in doing it the system's way. You've got to go direct to the people. Because when I tell them, you will have done the same, of course, when I tell people some of the cases that I know about, who have no idea, members of the public, they are mortified that this is going on. In fact, it's so fantastic, this can't be true.
And if they
don't, exaggerate,
especially, David, if they don't want to be mortified, because not a lot of brains can cope with it, really, the true horrors of it, you know, what happens to the child.
Exactly. So you see, this is what we need to do, you know. If one person stood up here and said something that the police took offence to, and they took him away, that's one thing. If there's a million people in this square all doing the same, it's all over. You know. Well, David, this is what we need to do. So what we need to do is to get groups together of mothers who are prepared to speak in ways about their cases that the system says you mustn't. And because, you know, I've seen council documents where it's saying to the parents who've just had their child taken away for no reason, if you speak about this case, you could go to jail for 3 months.
Well, I'll tell you what, if we can just put the black comedy in it, David, which is what has helped me survive and many other survivors, is that the police wanted to arrest me for swearing during my speech.
What, today?
Yes, but not for committing treason. Now, I have accused the Queen Mother of messing about with children on Jersey because I have witnesses. A lady who's very high up in the equestrian field has told me, she's about 70 now, and she said to me, Billy, the Queen Mother used to bounce me up and down on her knee when she came over here, if you know what I mean, Bill.
I tell you what, Bill, I've been talking about the royal family for nearly 20 years. I mean, talk about a cesspit the royal family is. They're Satanists, they're paedophiles. And the irony,
I think Al Fayed said that as well. Now we're getting a Diana thing coming out, and it looks like Al Fayed was right. 500 pieces of evidence not shown to the jury.
Well, you see, I mean, I've been writing about the Diana thing since it happened. It's the most blatant bloody assassination. But the thing is, again, we keep coming back to this structure I'm talking about. It means that through the secret society network, you can put your safe judge with the verdict known before the case starts on the case. Look at Lord Hutton when he completely covered up the murder of David Kelly, the weapons man. He was put in there to come to that verdict, and that's why people were saying, well, what about this evidence wasn't put before the Hutton inquiry? They don't want that evidence because it shows another story to the official one. This is what's happening with social services cases in courts all the time. You know, I'm running, helping someone with one at the moment, and they put out a document, social services, saying that the mother had faked evidence that her child had been abused, sexually abused. I've seen the doctor's report that it came from. She never faked it at all. But that report...
And they're also putting women in a mental institution, sectioning them if they say you've been messing about with our kids in care. So they lock them up. Can I just tell you something? I don't know if you know this, David, right? I think it might amuse you. It's right up your street. 5 years ago, right, bearing in mind that the Queen is the figurehead of the Church of England, Christian, As Christians, we fight against Satan, yes? If you're a Christian.
Right.
That's what we're meant to do. But 5 years ago, it was made legal that you can practice Satanism in Her Majesty's Royal Navy. So she goes to church on Sunday, what does she do on Monday? And if she knows about these dark forces that she said to Paul Burrell, why doesn't she come forward and let us go and get them?
I know so much, because over 20 years and putting this stuff out, I know so much about the royal family, and the idea, when I think about it, that the Queen Mother, who was a high satanic, what you might call,
and very influential. Let's get
high satanic operator. That she died at 102, and these people seem to live a long time.
Yes.
As the nation's grandmother. Oh, oh, the lovely Queen Mum. As Diana said to a friend of mine who knew her for 9 years, the Queen Mother is evil, and there's no other word for it.
Do you believe that Harry is Hewitt's kid?
Oh yes, absolutely.
So do I.
Well,
so I'd like to agree with David on that. I think that Harry is Hewitt's kid, and Harry went out to war for about 10 weeks, then they sent him back because it was too dangerous for him, David, but not too dangerous for our kids.
But the thing is that I saw a picture of James Hewitt as a polo player, not a million miles from the age of Harry at the time. Stands back in amazement. They're twins, mate. At that same age, they're twins. It's
strange, isn't it?
I mean, look at Charles, you look at William, you look at Charles, you look at Harry. Something more to know here, Bill, eh?
Well, I'll tell you something else, David. After Sun, Sea and Satan was released, when I put that fact across about the Navy, William was taken out of the Navy. And then all the officials, Balhack, who was the chief, what is it they call him, Lil?
Chief Bailiff.
The Chief Bailiff on the island of Jersey, and what's the other guy who was Walker, Frank Walker, they all started retiring after that film because we started exposing from what we learnt from you, from David, what we at Pie Mash Films, we have learnt so much from this man. And this man, I tell you what, you're not on your own there, David, because I'm fed up with seeing people like David being bashed up by you people. Now let's listen to him. Alright, if you listen to him, you're going to learn something. David, love ya.
Bit of pleasure. I love your work, mate.
And I love your work as well. So now we're tickling each other's bollocks, as we say. Right, too late. What go on there?